München are champions of Europe yet again after they completed a successful treble. But will the 2020-2021 season be a small case of deja vu? Or will the likes of Dortmund, Gladbach or Leverkusen have something to say? We'll take a little look at my brand new predictions coming at you next. Right, folks, back once again with another prediction show today. We're taking a look at the 2020-2021 Bundesliga season. And we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Bundesliga related, world football related. We're going to all here, boys, under one Ruski. That's right. Goodness gracious me. Bayern turned on the juices in the end to get over the line against PSG in the Champions League final. But of course, attention now switches to the Bundesliga, boys, where of course Bayern ended the season in tremendous form. Runaway winners in the end. Good, I don't know, maybe knocking on 15 points, something like that, I don't know. But anyway, before we jump into the deep end, I want to make a couple of announcements, boys and girls. We've got a couple of new Patreons since maybe your last with us. We are actually up to 14. We have lost one in the process, but it's okay. So a big round of applause, of course, to the newest is Chris Wilson. That's right. Respect to Chris Wilson for joining the VIP gang. He is a Patreon coming up from Down Under. So respect to Chris Wilson. He's also joined by Nathan Heaver, who's also from Down Under in the neck of the woods from New Zealand. He's also joined us as well. So respect to those two guys who recently joined the Patreon gang. We are now up to 14, boys and girls. 14. And let's go through them once again, just to let you know. Dylan Goddard, William Shepherd, Ultra Uma Murat, LG and Cow, Chris Wilson, Bianca Muller, Daniel Meller, Cody Cahoe, Joachim Johansson, Nathan Heaver, Tom Cock, John Spurn, Russell Frost, and Aztec Marky B. Mark, boys and girls. So respect to all those guys for supporting the channel in another way that they do. It does keep us moving in the right direction to kick this channel on another level, boys. If anyone else is out there watching this and thinking, you know, I think I want to get in there and get stuck in there as an executive VIP person for the channel, there is a link down below, patreon.com/Roverseas, boys and girls. So let's jump in the deep end and take a look at, of course, the Vortex. We're talking about the Prediction League, boys and girls. The Prediction League, that is, we will be having a Prediction League for the Bundesliga. There are actually currently, as of right now, 2 active leagues. It is Ligue 1 and in France, of course, the Scottish Premiership. We're just kind of ironing out the kinks there, just to try and make sure we can keep this bad boy moving. Because if things were to end up like they were in the Champions League videos, I'll be ripping my eyes out because there were so many predictions. I do like that, of course. You know, the more the merrier, the more the merrier. So what I'm talking about here in the Prediction League is basically we're going to do match day by match day predictions for the Bundesliga. Starting with match day number 1, which according to my knowledge is on the when is match day number 1 out in Germany? It's probably mid-September, just like everybody else. 18th of September. So around about that, about a week before that, we'll do a week by week, of course, predictions for match day number 1. Get your predictions in the old comment section down below. You'll then automatically enter yourself in the Prediction League. Free to enter, but you could actually become a king or queen of the Prediction League for Bundesliga, boys. And we'll have all these various leagues running across various divisions, so make sure you stick around for that. So the best way to keep up to date, boys, is banging the old subscribe button. That's right, bottom right hand corner, smash the old subscribe, smash the little bell as well so you don't miss a beat, because I will be going live occasionally. I think I might be going live with the Bundesliga games. We'll see how it all goes. Anyway, let's jump into the deep end and take a look who I think will come out on top. Now, if you've never seen me do one of these league predictions from the get-go, I like to do it a little bit differently, like some other pundits out there or whatever, predictors out there. I actually start smack dab in the middle and work my way down, and then we'll as a kind of like a mini tease to see who will go down, and then we'll do of course the other way from the middle of the table all the way up, boys and girls. Does that look okay? Let me just see. I think that looks a little looks good to me. It's just my eyes. I do have new glasses on. Sexy. That's right. Anyway, so let's jump in the deep end and let's have a look who I think will finish smack dab in the middle. Of course, there's 18 teams in there, so we're going to go straight in at number, what is it? Everybody with me? 1, 2, 10th. That's right. And I'm going to go with Eintracht Frankie. That's right, the Frankie Meisters. Of course, last time out they finished 9th, actually a position worse this time around. I do expect some of the teams below them, the likes of Werder Bremen, the likes of Schalke, to do much better this season. Werder Bremen escaped by the skin of their teeth, and they don't want to go through what they did last time around. Frankie in the middle of the table, of course, the European football last season. This season will be a kind of a reset the blocks, reset the clocks kind of deal. Currently managed. Who are they managed by these days? Eintracht Frankfurt. I've got it. It's Aldi Huttos from Austria, of course. They've got the captain David Abraham. The bookies odds on this one, I'll tell you. to win the title. They're actually, around about 8th favourites, something like that, 200 to 1, long shots. And they'll open up their campaign at home to Arminia Bielefeld. So this should be an opening day victory, I would suspect, for Frankfurt on this one. They'll be okay, mid-table, no relegation fears, but realistically, I think that they do want aspirations, or they have aspirations to get further up the field. I do expect Frankfurt to be mid-table, nothing to get too excited. Kind of a steady Eddie sort of season. And again, around about similar to last season, but maybe drop off the pace somewhat a little bit. Next up in 11th, we do have Werder Bremen. That's right. I believe, boys. I believe in the Werder Bremen. I don't know what went on last season. To be honest with you, I can't really recall their season prior. Let me have a quick scan at that. Was it all just a one-season blip, or what? Yeah, the previous season, they're up as high as 8th. I don't know what went on. I don't know what went off, boys and girls. But anyway, I do expect a bit more of a normality to resume for Werder Bremen. They don't want to go down that same old route, because they were on the skin of their teeth going down and into the Zweite Bundesliga. Who knows if they'll bounce back at the first attempt. But anyway, they held on tight, finishing in the old playoff spot. And of course, they ousted their opposition in that one. I don't even recall who they played. Put the answers in the postcard down below. They are managed by Florian Kurfeld, who was there at the back end of last season, and again, I do expect them to be chipping more further up the table than down below. I've not gone for an ambitious top 8, top 9 sort of finish. I think a reasonable bounce back ability of around about mid-table should be okay. The bookies also see it a little bit more generous as well. 750 to 1. They are 7th favourites to go down, which according to my maths, what does that leave? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, around about 12. So yeah, in around about that. So yeah, not bad shout. And they'll open up their campaign against Hertha Berlin at home as well. So a good chance for them to get some points on the board. Hertha Berlin, a decent side. I do expect them to be more up than down this season. Into 12th. 12th is the returning Stuttgart boys and girls. Of course, they spent last season in the Zweite Bundesliga, doing bits very, very well for themselves these days. They're currently managed by Pellegrino Matarazzo. Americano, that's right. Mark Oliver Kempf is El Capitano these days for Stuttgart. Yeah, decent side. It's a shame. It's a shame to see some of the teams that do go down. Some of the big teams, Hamburg SV went down. Stuttgart gone down recently. Of course, now they're back. So yeah, I like to see some of the familiar faces, and Stuttgart are a familiar side for me. I do expect them to have a more steady season themselves these days. Of course, the bookmakers, they've got them struggling at 1,000 to 1 for the title. 4th favourites, joint 3rd favourites to go down on this time around. But for me, I do think they'll be all right. I think they've got the facilities. They've got they play in front of 60,449 fans, folks, on a usual given Saturday or Sunday, whatever. So it's an impressive facilities there. Only bested by 5 or 6 clubs there, but they are a juggernaut of a club. And they do deserve to be in top flight. Of course, that means nothing. If they deserve it or not, they've got to perform on the pitch. And of course, they got relegated a couple of seasons back now, and hopefully they've learned from their mistakes and they can chip away this season. So Stuttgart, I'm going to go for 12th so far. Yeah, let's go into number 13, and it is FC Köln. That's right, FC Köln, of course. They bounced back, was their first season back last season. They finished a respectable 14th, around about this area as well. I've got them going a little bit better this time around in 13th spot. I do like Köln. They are a rival to my team, Borussia Mönchengladbach, of course, who did finish in the Champions League spots. Just saying, hashtag just saying. Of course, managed by these days Marcus Gutzel. Jonas Hector is El Capitano as well. They'll start their campaign, FC Köln, up against Hoffenheim at home as well. Bookies will see them. They're also around about the same similar sort of standard as Stuttgart. 1,000 to 1 for the total. That's a joint 3rd / joint 5th. To go down, but for me, they will stay up again for another season. They do again. I think they're a club that should be in the Bundesliga as well. Into 14th spot, it's Freiburg. Freiburg did finish last season in an okay sort of spot, all the way. When I say okay, up as high as 8th. Goodness gracious me, they had a tremendous season. I think they're going to have a season of familiarity. One that they're sort of a middle echelon sort of club, and I do expect the likes of Frankfurt, Werder Bremen, Stuttgart to be above them. You could possibly argue that Köln might finish below them a little bit, but I think Freiburg will be all right in the end. Yes, it doesn't look pretty on paper, and it is a bit of a downgrade, a huge downgrade from last time around. Of course, tremendous last time. Christian Stretch is their manager. They've yet to decide on who's going to wear the captain's armband these days, and they will kick off their campaign on the road against Stuttgart. Oh my goodness, that's right. So the bookies odds on Freiburg, they have them quite high, reasonably high, 500 to 1. That's right smack dab in the middle of the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, 8th favourites to go down, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, around about 11th in the table. That's what the bookmakers think. But me, I'm going a little bit worse off, 14th as well. When you look at some of the size of these clubs, man, Freiburg, they were battling above their weight last time around. I just don't expect them to be there. Maybe, just maybe, it's this manager's got them working a treat and got them pushing in the right direction. But ultimately, I think they will struggle and be towards middle bottom in the end. Next up, who do we have in 15th? I've got Augsburg. They finished 15th last time around. To be honest with you, I think they'll take that according to what the bookies say. Augsburg, of course, forever. Whenever I see them in this division, I do expect them to struggle, and this season is no different. Heiko Herrlich is the manager. Goodness gracious me, that's a blast from the past. Former Dortmund striker, if I recall. Did he used to play for my boys? I don't think he did he? I think he was a one-man band. No, he did play for Mönchengladbach. He did play for Mönchengladbach. That's right. He made his name at Mönchengladbach. And he also got a couple of German caps as well. Heiko Herrlich. Look at him. Look at him. He actually formerly managed Leverkusen back in the day. That's slipped my mind. Anyway, Herrlich is in charge of Augsburg. They'll stay up by the skin of their teeth. The bookies will think they'll go down. Second favourites to go down. 1,500 to 1. They will open up their campaign against Union Berlin on the road as well. So, yeah, Augsburg sticking around. Herrlich in charge. We love him. We love him. He's of course, a traditional German name. Heiko Herrlich. Come on, boys. That's German through and through. Alrighty, so Augsburg 15th, right? Next up, the most unluckiest spot in town. It's the playoff spot, relegation playoff spot, number 16. I've got... Okay, so who do we have in number 16? The unluckiest spot in town is the playoff relegation spot. And I have, oh my goodness, it's Union Berlin. That's right. What an amazing team this is. I do like them, and I do hope that they survive. They have the smallest stadium in the Bundesliga, but very, very, very passionate fans as well. Urs Fischer is the manager of these teams, captained by Christoph Trimmel. They did, of course, have a decent season last season, finishing all the way up as high as 11th, but that might just be your one season wonder. And of course, there's a thing in the Premier League called second season syndrome. I think Union Berlin will have a small case of that. Hopefully, they'll have enough to stick around and ride through this wave, because the second season probably is going to be the hardest if you survive the first. But I do expect Union Berlin to struggle. And the bookmakers see that they will. They've got 6 favourites to go down, 750 to 1, maybe. They'll open up their campaign against Augsburg at home, so a good chance to battle one of your fellow relegation threatened clubs here. But I do expect Union Berlin to have a season more of woe than success. Again, I do hope they survive. I like them. To be honest with you, I'm not just putting people down there because I don't like them. I'm putting them down there because I think they don't have the facilities, they don't have the personnel, they don't have the depth, that sort of stuff. And I think Union Berlin fall in that category, unfortunately. Joining them will be Mainz 05. That's right, Mainz 05. Of course, they were 13th last time around. Again, another team like Augsburg, who I always believe will struggle. And they've been battering above their weight for a few years now. Currently managed by, who they managed by these days? Achim Belotzner. Danny Latzner is El Capitano. Mainz battling above their weight. Of course, they do have a nice sort of stadium, 34,000 seater Opel Arena out in Mainz. Formerly, of course, managed by what's his chops, Klopski, who's now at Liverpool, of course, winning it all. The bookies do see them struggle. 1,000 to 1/3 favourites to go down alongside Stuttgart, Köln, and then just better than Augsburg, and who I have got in at the bottom spot as well, of course. So yeah, Mainz will struggle, and I think this will be the year they go down. I think they're gonna have to. When you look at the teams in and amongst that lower half, the likes of Stuttgart, Werder Bremen, and Frankie, they are who's of German football, boys. Who's. They're teams that are familiar with being in the top end of the table, and they're going to struggle. So who the heck's in the top? We'll get to that half in a minute. But who's going to go down? Of course, red hot favourites. Local team for me, to be honest with you. When my folks still live over in Germany, just saying. And this is probably the localist team, ish, about 40 minutes drive from where we live over in Germany. Arminia Bielefeld, great Christmas market, but the football team at this level will struggle. Of course, they've also got quite a small stadium. They've been at this level before, and I'll be rooting for them. I will be rooting for them, of course, but I do expect them to be like the chief whipping boys this time around. I think they do not have the quality to if they do stay up, hey, I'll hold my hat up, boys and girls. I'll hold my hat up. It'll be a tremendous season for them to stick around. But again, last season everybody, Union Berlin were the focus of most people's expectations to struggle. Arminia Bielefeld, like Paderborn as well. Paderborn last season were expected to struggle, and they did. And I do expect Bielefeld to be in that category. So they are red hot favourites to go down 2,000 to 1 on their own, boys. On the go, they'll kick off the campaign against Frankie, who I have in 10th. So let's go, boys and girls, in the top end of the table. And who is going to finish in 9th? Well, I've got Schalke 04. That's right. Of course, still managed by David Wagner, who, according to this, is an Americano. He must be half and half. Half and half and half. Of course, Schalke realistically should be in the top 6. But they did have an absolute nightmare back into the season. They actually finished in 12th last time around. They did start pretty positively, and I did expect them to finish much higher than they did. The Wagner's boys. To be honest with you, I don't think he's going to last long, if I'm completely honest with you. I think he will they'll have a bad start to the season, probably be in the lower echelons, and they'll make the decision to pull the plug on Wagner and then replace him for somebody else, and they will eventually turn this club around and finish in a respectable 9th spot in the table. The bookies have them 500 to 1 alongside Freiburg in the middle of the park there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th favourites to go down. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, it's around about where I've got them. So yeah, I do expect them to be okay again. But Schalke fans will not want this again and again to start off the campaign against the European champions. I don't even know if that game will take place, to be honest with you, because of Bayern winning the Champions League and going the distance. That might get pushed, but we'll see. But they are penciled in to take on Bayern at the Allianz Arena on 18th of September, and I do expect them to get whooped big time. And again, that will not give Wagner much confidence moving forward. You start rough, 4 or 5 games in, you're having a season of struggle already, you'll be out in your ear. So Schalke, 9th. Probably not with Wagner. Next up, we have 8th is Hertha Berlin, boys and girls. Hertha Berlin, who finished last season in 10th spot. Again, they had a wobbly sort of season, up and down, up and down. They had a couple of managers as well. They did finish with Alexander Nuri as interim manager. Has that been replaced? Bruno Labbiada is now the manager, who is a former, what's his deal? Former Wolfsburg manager, Hamburger SV by Leverkusen back in the day. So he's an experienced campaigner, Bruno Labbiada. I do expect him to get this club pushing in the right direction and finish a top 9 finish, top 8 finish will be much appreciated by the fans of Hertha Berlin. Again, they probably have aspirations to finish much higher than that, but I do expect them to be in or thereabouts. They are 200 to 1, 7th favourites for the title, which is good. Alongside Frankie as well. I do have Frankie again further down the pecking order, but yeah, around about then. They're around about 7th, 8th favourites, something like that. So it's about fair according to the bookies as well. Again, Hertha Berlin opened up their campaign. Where are they playing? They're playing on the road against Werder Bremen. That's right. Tricky start, of course, but yeah, they'll be okay. Next up, we have 7th is Hoffenheim, of course. That's around about where they usually finish. 6th or 7th. 6th last time around, 52 points on the board last time around. Of course, they've had a bit of discomfort behind the scenes with their owner and all this kind of stuff. A lot of bit of turmoil that's kind of been bubbling, but maybe by their fans or opposition fans, I don't know. They are still managed by Sebastian Hossens. Benjamin Hubner is El Capitano. The bookies have them in around about the same, 250 to 1. I've got around about 3-6, 9th favourites. So in around about that park, similar sort of numbers to Hertha Berlin and Frankie for the title. So Hoffenheim will open up their campaign on the road to AFC Köln, of course, away, and Hoffenheim will hope to get them seasons. They're off to a good start, and maybe turn themselves into a Europa League sort of candidate as well. They did finish in the Europa League spots last time, so they'll have that on the agenda as well. So they'll be competing on multiple fronts as well. Into 6th, we have Wolfsburg, again finishing last season in 7th, one better this time around. Strong team, Wolfsburg. They did finish. I think they did finish the season pretty strong, and they were on the up. If the season was like another 5 or 6 games, they probably could have been in the old Champions League spots. That's how good they were towards the back end of it. Managed by these days Wolfsburg, Oliver Glasner, Joshua Gilovoni is El Capitano these days. The bookies have them as high as 6 favourites for the title, so it's about right. It's bang on according to 150 to 1 though. So it's a good separation between Wolfsburg in 6 and the chasing pack in the top 5, though there is a whopping 100 or in the odds stakes. The next one up is 50 to 1. Wolfsburg is 151, so there's a big old void there. Wolfsburg will open up their campaign Where will they take it? They're going to take it on Bayern Leverkusen on the Sunday, the 20th of September. That'll be a nice way to start the season. And again, at home, they'll fancy the chances as well. And a rumour has it Germany may have some fans in the stands as well for the launch of the season. So Wolfsburg, decent size, 30,000 seat capacity stadium. They're going to finish nice and high in 6th spot, one better than last time around. Next up, we have my boys. This hurts a little bit. This hurts Borussia Mönchengladbach. Of course, they are in the Champions League this season. Not much has changed staff-wise or anything like that. So, I do expect them to be in that discussion. But competing on multiple fronts with, of course, the illustrious Champions League on there, it's going to add a bit more demand for the players. And, of course, they'll be, they want to stay in that competition as long as they can. It is a money maker. It is something. I think it will deter them from their performance in the Bundesliga as much as it hurts. They'll fall back into the Europa League spots, though. They'll still be in there in the discussion, of course, managed still by Marco Rose. Lars Stindl's El Capitano these days. And I do expect them to have a good old season. They are around about 4th favourites, so around about what they were last time around. But of course, Leverkusen and the teams, you would expect to be in that number 4 spot, will have less of a demand, less distraction, should we say? Of course, Mönchengladbach kicking off their season on the road. Difficult game against Dortmund. It's going to be tough. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, next up we do have 4th place. It is Bayer Leverkusen, of course, finished 5th last time around. 2 points adrift of Mönchengladbach in the end. It was actually quite tight in the race for the top 4 spots. Mönchengladbach just 1 point shy of Leipzig, and again, they were sidebarred, somewhat, you would say, somewhat sidebarred by the Champions League. And if the season would have played out normally, you probably would have seen Mönchengladbach overtake Leipzig because of the demand of the games were congested with the Bundesliga, whereas what we experienced, all of us, was the Bundesliga came to a conclusion, and then all focus for Leipzig was on the Champions League. It was kind of separated a little bit, a chance for them to regroup, refocus, and all that kind of jazz. But I think in a normal calendar year, I think Leipzig would have either crashed out earlier in the Champions League or fallen down the pecking order in the thing. So I do have Leverkusen though in 4th spot. Which will be Champions League for them, of course. Keeping all of the likes of Leon Bailey, of course, much prior to Kai Havertz, probably on the verge of joining Chelsea, I think. Still managed by Peter Bush, the Dutchie. Lars Bedner is El Capitano. They're actually 5th favourites, actually alongside Mönchengladbach as 4th favourites alongside Mönchengladbach for the title as well. Leverkusen will kick off their campaign on the road to Wolfsburg, and that was that. Next up, 3rd spot is RB Leipzig. Rasenballsport Leipzig, of course. No more Timo Werner. That campaign is over, but it did still show in the Champions League back end of their campaign that they can compete with the big boys. They did finish in 3rd spot last time around. 3 points adrift of Dortmund again, who could have been. Well, they weren't really sidetracked from the Champions League. They were already out, but it was a tough old competition for Dortmund towards the back end of it. Leipzig were clipping at the heels, and again, two or three more games, and that the 2nd spot could have been anybody's in the end. So of course, Leipzig 3rd favourite 16-1, losing of course key personnel in Timo Werner. A lot of goals in him, and he's gone on to pastures new for Chelsea. Still managed by these days Leipzig. Where are you, coach? Jurgen Nagelsmann. That's right, of course, the young hot prospect, the football managing genius, who's like 10 years old. I don't know. They're managed by, or they're captained by William Orban. They'll kick off their campaign, Leipzig. At home to Mainz, so it should be a nice way to get themselves up and running with some 3 points at home as well on the Sunday. So it leaves me to say who is going to be at number 1 and number 2. Of course, I've left myself the 2 juggernauts. Realistically, I don't see much change in that. It will be either Dortmund or it will be Bayern. And to be honest with you, with what we saw, of course, in the back end of the Champions League, I really do want someone else to win the title. I do. I don't like it where in a league there is an over-dominating team. I really don't. And for the past couple of seasons, I've gone Dortmund. I've gone Dortmund to break up that hoodoo. But I've been absolutely stunned and amazed by the way Bayern destroyed the likes of Barcelona and the like along the way, Olympic Lyon. They were absolutely phenomenal, and they've just strengthened their team even further by bringing in Leroy Sané from Manchester City. It's going to be criminal. I think it's going to be criminal. I think we're on to something special this season. Everyone talks about the Invincibles over in England, which was Arsenal. I think we're going to have a fantastic campaign for Bayern this season. They could be runaway leaders. They could probably be champions by Christmas. I think it could be that destruction. Especially they've got that mantle now. The crown is on their heads. They are German champions. They're German Cup winners. They are now European champions as well. They're going to add that to it. I don't like it. I really don't. But they were phenomenal. It was a joy to watch as well. Dortmund will be in the discussion for a little bit, but it's going to be It's going to be too much to bear as well. Hansi Flick, you know, I didn't rate him. I thought Pochettino was going to come in. I was there. I held my hands up. But phenomenal run since he's come on in there and destroyed everybody in his wake. Yet to lose, I think. Yet to lose in any competition. Goodness gracious me. Absolutely phenomenal. So that, my friends, is what I think will happen in the old Bundesliga this season. Now, be sure to get your own predictions in the old comment section down below. We will be doing, let me just bounce out of here for a second. We'll, of course, be doing match day by match day predictions out there in the Bundesliga as well. So make sure you bang the subscribe button, boys and girls, because if you do get your predictions in, even if you don't even want to be in the prediction league, you will automatically enter the prediction league by putting in your predictions. Even if you put it in one time, you'll have your ranking at the end of the season. I will let you know how good a predictor you are, especially in the Bundesliga as well. I will be doing an unexplainer, even though I've said that about a month ago. I will be doing it. This week will be it, because I've got a bit more time on my hands these days. But yeah, so stick around for that bad boy. Yeah, looking forward to the Bundesliga, of course. We've still got a little bit of wait, around about 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks, something like that, before that bad boy comes in. So be sure to bang the subscribe, bang the little bell as well, and also give this video some love. Smash the thumbs up so it does do well in the old algorithm, and of course gets more views and gets more people to it, because that makes more competition for the prediction league, and it gives me a headache. I'm already losing me here, boys. I'm going to lose my eyesight as well once I start reading all your predictions. Anyway, that's it. Get your predictions in. Who you think is? Will it be Bayern running away with it? I think so, but more importantly, who's going to be in the Champions League discussion? I think that's definitely an argument waiting to happen. I think the likes of Leverkusen, possibly even the likes of Wolfsburg, could be in that Champions League battle, and maybe even an outside bet like Frankfurt or Hertha Berlin. You just don't know. Will Leipzig have a collapse? You know, losing their goal scorer? I don't think so. I think Nagelsmann's too clever. He's always one step ahead. He's like a good snooker player. But anyway, that's enough about that. I'll see you all very, very soon. Give the video some love. I'll see you on the other side. If you want to go that extra punch as well, check out the description. Links to my other social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, if you want to become a brother from another mother, that's right. You could become a Patreon, boys and girls. There is a link down below, patreon.com/Roverseas. Until then, though, auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss, as they say. Slang for German. Ciao. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date. All things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.